Hi everybody, it's Kayla from Kayla Crochet Love, and today I am here to answer your questions. So for my giveaway video, I had people ask me questions. That giveaway is now closed, but I had people ask me questions that I figured I would answer in another video. Well, I had about 49 comments on that video, so as you can imagine, there were quite a few questions. Some people had more than one. So I'm going to do it in two parts. Yeah, I will just do it in two parts. So I have them all written down and I kind of categorized them just so I wasn't repeating myself and whatnot. So the first questions I'll answer, I had a few questions about when I dyed my yarn, because one of the prizes was a small skein of yarn I dyed with Kool-Aid. So I will answer those questions first. So the first question was, how did you dye yarn? And I pretty much just answered it. I used Kool-Aid. It's really kind of neat, and I had heard of people doing it before, so I wanted to give it a try myself. And yeah, so I used Kool-Aid, and it's the unsweetened Kool-Aid pouches. I also did one skein using food coloring. So, second question, how long do you let the coloring stay in the wool before rinsing it? Do you just rinse it with cool water? So the way that you dye yarn with Kool-Aid is, I'll link a video down below to Nastasia's tutorial, which is exactly what I followed when I did both with the Kool-Aid and the food coloring. The way you do it is you put your Kool-Aid, color it on it, and you actually microwave it. I know it sounds very strange because at first I was like, I thought you just let let it soak for a few days, but you actually microwave it, and you just microwave it for 2 minutes, let it sit for 2 minutes, and you just do that pretty much until all the color's absorbed. And she has another way of doing it too outside, which I wasn't doing that because it's still pretty cool here where we are in Canada. So yeah, it's used the microwave. As for rinsing it, I do just rinse it with cool water. I actually used a little bit of wool wash. I can't remember which one I used. It's the one I always use. And I just kind of, I would put a little bit in some lukewarm water, and I would just soak it for a minute, and then I would just rinse it a few times. And because of the microwaving, most of the coloring is absorbed into the yarn, so there's not much that I found came out when I rinsed it. Question number 3 about yarn dyeing is, did you record your yarn dyeing and can we see it? I did not record it. I just found it would be kind of boring. Maybe something I will do down the road if I decide to do more, which a lot of you seemed to think it was pretty neat, so I might do more. And it was fun, trust. I spent an afternoon doing it and it was a lot of fun, but I didn't record it. It would have been pretty hard for me to record. I would need someone there with me to do it. And yeah, it was kind of boring because it's mostly just sitting there waiting for the microwave to go off and whatnot. So, and my 4th question about yarn dyeing, which is my last question about yarn dyeing, is, are you going to be dyeing yarn to sell? And that is no. I will not be doing that. I am really interested in dyeing yarn, but I don't have the time to, because I do work. I work part-time, but I have other commitments outside of work as well. So I just wouldn't have a chance to sell it. But that being said, since a lot of people are interested, if I do other giveaways down the road, which as my channel grows, I'm hoping to do that, I might just throw in some hand-dyed yarn that I've done with Kool-Aid once in a while. But yeah, I will not be selling it, unfortunately. So that's it for the yarn dyeing questions. And then I'm going to skip to non-yarny questions, because I had a few of those. I didn't have very many. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into those for now. So the first question, and I'm not saying names because I just wrote these down real quick and I wasn't sure who would want their names mentioned, and I think it would just take a little bit too much time. So if you hear your question, which I think I wrote all of them down, so can you introduce us to your little friends behind you? So if you're talking about all my stuffies around here, so I've introduced some of them, but I will do it again real quick. So I have these three. So these three, I have two little llamas and then this sheep. My husband bought me these. We have this kind of thing where if I'm having a bad day, or if he knows I've been having a rough week, he'll often buy me a little stuffed animal. And I've been telling him that I wanted stuff like this to put in my craft room. So he bought me these three. This one he bought me a while ago. And then these two he bought me just after Valentine's Day. And then this one here, which is one of my favorites, my aunt made this one. And she had made it for fun, and I loved it, so she decided to give it to me. She also, you can't see him right now, but I know sometimes you can kind of see him. She also made me this guy. So they're super cute. I love these. My aunt is very talented as well. Kind of got a lot of my talents from her. So that's those ones. And then I have a couple here my mom made. I don't think you can see them as well. So this is actually knit amigurumi, because my mom's into knitting. So it is she made this little puppy, and it's kind of hard to see. She made it black because when I got my dog Shiloh, he was very black. So she decided to knit me a little black puppy amigurumi. As he's gotten older, he's kind of gotten gray, but I think it's super cute, and it's so soft. She's like fun fur yarn, but it's so soft, and it's quite heavy. Like, you'd think you were holding a little puppy. And then he has the big eyes. So there's that one. And then she made me this one a little while ago, and it's a cat. It's kind of, it might look a little like funny because of how it was sitting on my shelf, but she made me this cat, and it's also knitted. And this was a collar I had bought for my cat, I think, and it didn't fit her, so I put it on this, and it's the same colors as my kitty, so she decided to make me one, and I saw them and thought they were cute, and they're supposed to sit kind of like this on your shelf. So yeah, that's those. And that's all I have back there right now. I have a unicorn sitting on the floor, but I'm not going to pull it out because it's huge. So yeah, those are my little friends behind me. So this was asked by someone who also lives in Ontario, and she asked me what city I live in. And I don't, my answer for that is I don't live in a city. I live about, and the closest city to me is about an hour away. I live out in the country. I live in Lake Cottage country, so there's not many, I don't have many neighbors right now, but during the summer we do. But yeah, the closest city I live to would be Barrie, Ontario. And I believe she said she's from the North Bay area or something like that. And we go to North Bay area almost every summer, or we try to. We have a family friend who owns a cottage up there, so we try and go and visit there. It's beautiful there. So, but yeah, I don't live in the city, and I don't plan on living in the city because I'm not a city girl. I am definitely a country girl. I like having the trees and like we live near a beach and all that stuff. So yeah, but the closest one I live to is Barrie. That's about an hour away. And then there's Toronto, which is about 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours away from us. So and this question, the next question, I remember who asked this one. It was Rose from Rose Likes Crochet. She asked, do you have more than one puppy? Because on my giveaway video, I believe Shiloh was with me. So do you have more than one puppy? Also, how old is he or she, and what is their name? So my answer to that is yes, I have more than one puppy. I have two. I have Shiloh, which you met. He is 5 years old. Well, he'll be 5 years old in July, so he's still 4. And then in one of the videos I put up recently, I think it was my Leo and Roxy unboxing, you would have seen Rocky. He is a Chihuahua. Shiloh is a Shih Tzu Chihuahua mix, and Rocky is a purebred long-haired Chihuahua. And he is 1. He will be 2 in August. So yeah, I have 2 puppies. And then, so right now my husband and I live in a little apartment at my parents', but we don't have a door separating our apartments. It's just kind of, the animals can go where they want, and they have a little dog as well, who is actually Rocky's brother, and his name is Loki. So I was thinking about maybe doing a little video introducing my fur babies, because other than my dogs, I also have a cat, and her name's Minu, and I believe she is going to be 3 or 4. I think, yeah, I can't remember. It's either 3 or 4. I'd have to look back and see. And then I also have 2 guinea pigs, and they are both about 2 years old, I believe. So, but I might do a little video to show you guys, because I'm pretty proud of them. Of all my babies. And this question, so this is number 4. If you had the chance to meet a famous deceased person, who would it be? So I was thinking about this one, and there's only 2 celebrities that ever came to my mind when I was thinking about this one. So the first one that came to mind was Freddie Mercury from Queen. I just think he would have been a really interesting person to talk to. I don't know, I love Queen's music and everything, so I just think it'd be really interesting to talk to him. And after watching Bohemian Rhapsody, I really thought he would have been an interesting one to meet. And the second person, which might surprise some of you guys, but it would be Johnny Cash. I have loved Johnny Cash since I can remember. I've always loved his music. His song Ring of Fire was one of the first ones I learned to play on guitar, and one of the first ones I ever performed for my family. So he'd probably be the number 1 I would want to meet, because I've actually done school projects about him and everything. In high school we had to sing a performance. I picked Ring of Fire. So yeah, I think my number 1 would probably be Johnny Cash, and then Freddie Mercury. And for Johnny Cash, again, he had an interesting, rough life, it seemed. But it's just, I don't know, just something about him, I thought. And my whole family loves him too, so I just thought it'd be neat to meet him, if I could. Number 5, what other hobbies do you like to do? So, I have a few other things I like to do. I really enjoy music. I like listening to music, but I also like to, I haven't been doing it as much anymore, which I've really been wanting to get back into it, is playing. So I used to play guitar, piano, ukulele. I started learning some mandolin, started the violin, but those kind of haven't been touched for a while. I think I still have them somewhere around here. And I did trombone in high school and I hated it. I would not pick the trombone up again. I mean, it's fun to say I used to play it, but I did not enjoy playing trombone, but I didn't have a choice. And yeah, and I enjoy singing a lot. I used to compete when I was younger, and I used to always like to perform for people. Actually, in high school, I used to bring my guitar to school. I'd sit in the hallway at lunchtime and just play, and sometimes often a little group of people would come around and sing with me and whatnot, so it was a lot of fun. So that's one of my other hobbies. I also really enjoy writing, like creative writing. It's just, again, it's something I've always liked to do for as long as I can remember. I've always been writing stories. I'm pretty sure my mom has some of them from when I was little. I know she has letters I wrote her when I was little, but I actually just got back into doing more writing. It's not something I would publish, it's more personal writing. It's stuff that, like, I write about dreams and stuff, and it's a good way to clear my mind. Not necessarily if I'm having a bad day, it's just a good way to relax me. I like to do it before going to sleep. But my other main hobby, other than crochet and knitting, is actually, which again I haven't done for a while, but is cake decorating. I used to have my own little business for, I think I only lasted about a year. It just got to be too much pressure. I think I called it Kayla's Creative Cakes, and I used to make all kinds of cakes, and if I can find pictures, I'll insert a few here. Just to show you guys what I can do. But yeah, so I do enjoy doing that, but I haven't had a chance to for a while. Again, being busy and whatnot. I had a couple rough experiences with a couple customers. And I can't even say that they were strangers. They were people I actually knew who, not that they criticized my work, it's just they weren't giving me a time frame for when they needed it, and then when they finally said they needed it, it was very last minute. So I just decided I was done with that and I would just do it for fun. I'm actually supposed to do a wedding cake this summer, so that's pretty exciting. And yeah, I'm hoping to do a little bit more of that because I love baking. So yeah, cake decorating. And that's pretty much it. Everything else you guys pretty much know. Okay, so the last question that I'm going to answer today is, what is the hardest thing about having a YouTube channel? So I had to think about this one a little bit because I haven't been doing my channel for very long. It hasn't even been a year yet. I think it'll be a year in July or August. And I got into it really slowly, and I've just kind of been starting to get more into it the past few months. But I think the hardest thing for me is thinking up content that won't bore people. I'm always afraid that I just blabber on to you guys. So I don't want to be boring, and I want to keep my channel interesting and throw a couple things out there that make me a little bit different from the rest, but I haven't really figured that out yet. So that's probably my biggest challenge, is thinking of content to get people interested. But other than that, it's a lot of fun. It's something I like to do for myself because it's a good distraction from kind of everyday life in a way. So yeah, that's probably the hardest thing, I would say, so far at least. I'm sure other things will come up down the road, but yeah, that's the hardest thing. So anyways, that is all the questions I have for now. I still have a bunch of other questions that I will answer in another video for you guys. But for today, that will be all. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, please. And you can also find me at the usual spots: Facebook, Ravelry, and Instagram, all at Kayla Crochet Love. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.